Alright, let's jump right back into this with the 15th pick in the 2010 NFL Draft. The New York Giants select C.J. Spiller, running back, Clemson. Alright, well, some people might not like this pick or might not think it's possible, but I think it's very possible. C.J. Spiller would add a thunder-lightning combination to the Brandon Jacobs and C.J. Spiller in New York that they haven't really had in a long time. C.J. Spiller is a Chris Johnson-type player. From default to number 15 is heck of a value. I think a Sean Witherspoon is a possibility here, but I think that the Giants and the organization will be really enticed by C.J. Spiller's upside along with Brandon Jacobs' power side. So look for this pick. It could be a shocker. So with the 16th selection, the Tennessee Titans select Jason Pierre-Paul, defensive end, linebacker, South Florida. The Tennessee Titans basically have two needs coming into this draft. Let's find a pass rusher and a cornerback. And right now they have the selection of what some people might believe Jason Pierre-Paul, the best defensive end in this draft, and Kyle Wilson, the second best corner in this draft. I think Titans fans would like to see Kyle Wilson be taken here, but I think the Tennessee Titans are going to be it's going to be tough to pass up a guy like Jason Pierre-Paul in the physical attributes that he brings. So with the 17th selection in the 2010 draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Anthony Davis, offensive tackle, Rutgers. Alright, I have Anthony Davis going to San Francisco here for a couple of reasons. One being his skill is going to outweigh his intangibles. This guy has red flags all over the place. He was a top 10 potential pick and has really killed himself. I think if San Fran doesn't take him, he could really fall if teams don't want to take the risks. There were some out of the combine saying that he was lazy and had terrible interviews. Didn't even want to work at his own pro day in the Senior Bowl. Oh, he had terrible work ethic, attitude, and all kinds of stuff. This guy's really killed himself, and I think Mike Singletary is the kind of coach that looks at a player like this and thinks, I can help this player and whip him into shape, and I think he can. So with the 18th selection in the 2010 draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Mike Iupati, offensive guard, Idaho. I really feel that this pick will either be Mike Iupati or Marquise Pouncey. I think Iupati goes here, obviously, because Marquise Pouncey's off the board, but I think Iupati fits really well into the Steelers scheme. He's a big offensive lineman, and that's the kind of players the Steelers really, really need. They could use some offensive help on the offensive line. I think it's a safe pick and an easy pick to make for the Steelers. So, with the 19th pick, the Atlanta Falcons select Sean Witherspoon, linebacker, Missouri. I really like Sean Witherspoon. If one player has really helped his cause, it's been Witherspoon. I think he's going to be the first linebacker taken over Rolando McClain simply because he fits a 4-3 defense better than Rolando McClain does. I think this pick becomes between Sean Witherspoon, the Missouri linebacker, or Brandon Graham, the defensive end, possible linebacker out of Michigan. Other than that, I don't think anybody else is a possibility here. So with the 20th selection in the draft, the Houston Texans take Kyle Wilson, cornerback, Boise State. I really think a lot of people at some time or another has either had Earl Thomas or Ryan Matthews here, but I tend to think that the Houston Texans are going to go corner with this pick, and I think if Kyle Wilson falls to them, he's the consensus number 2 defensive back in this draft. I think they have to take him. I think Earl Thomas is a definite possibility because he's a shorter free safety and possibly a big cornerback, but at the end of the day, I think Kyle Wilson's the best prospect and the best player on the board right now for the Houston Texans. So, with the 21st pick in the 2010 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Brian Price, defensive tackle, UCLA. This to me is a very smart pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, Tank Johnson is a serviceable starter, but he can really stand to be upgraded, and Brian Price is a definite upgrade. I think Jermaine Gresham or Taylor Mays could be a possibility here, but I really like Brian Price and the upside that he has, and for him to fall to number 21, I think it's a really good pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. So with the 22nd pick, the New England Patriots select Jermaine Gresham, tight end, Oklahoma. I think for the Patriots and Bill Belichick, this is a very smart pick. Tom Brady has never really had a big-time receiving threat at tight end, and it will really take the pressure off of Randy Moss and Wes Welker and that running game to have a tight end that can actually catch a pass and become an extra wide receiver. This guy plays like a wide receiver. He has great hands, great size, great ability. Just falls because of an ACL tear earlier in the year, but if he's 100% healthy, I think Belichick takes the tight end. I think a Jared Odrick or even Tim Tebow could be a possibility here, but Gresham's too good to pass up. So with the 23rd selection, the Green Bay Packers select Charles Brown, offensive tackle, Southern California. If there's one thing the Packers really need coming into this draft, that's to find help along the offensive line. I think Charles Brown's a perfect pick for the Green Bay Packers. He can play right tackle and possibly left guard, maybe even left tackle in the NFL. I think Charles Brown could be a pick that we look back on and see at 23, Green Bay Packers got a really, really solid player down the road here. I really like Charles Brown in this draft. Another pick could possibly be an Earl Thomas or a Devin McCourty if they want to go defense, but I think they desperately need to help Aaron Rodgers in that offensive line. So, with the 24th pick in the 2010 draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Earl Thomas, free safety, Texas. I've seen Earl Thomas projected as high as the top 10, but I think this is around the area he should be taken. He's a smaller free safety, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles would love to have Earl Thomas on their team. I think they would turn in this card so quickly that it would set a record for the fastest turn-in ever. Earl Thomas is a perfect fit for the Philadelphia Eagles and what they want to do on defense. I think Taylor Mays could be a possibility here if they decide to go bigger, but Earl Thomas is without a doubt the best player at this position and the best player the Eagles could select right now. So with the 25th pick in the 2010 draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Devin McCourty, cornerback, Rutgers. At this point in the draft, I think there's only two possibilities for the Ravens. I think it's either going to be Devin McCourty or Jared Odrick, the defensive end, defensive tackle, Penn State, whichever way you want to use him. I think they go with Devin McCourty because I think that secondary is getting a little older, and McCourty's this blazingly fast corner, maybe the fastest corner in this draft. And in my opinion, he's pretty much a solid number 3 corner in this draft. He's the 3rd best corner, and I think he's a perfect pick for the Baltimore Ravens. So, with the 26th selection in the 2010 draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Rolando McClain, inside linebacker, Alabama. We have really seen Rolando McClain's stock drop over the last few months, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he is a strictly 3-4 inside linebacker. After the Dolphins acquired Carlos Dansby, there really wasn't another team until Arizona, in my opinion, that needed to fill the void of Carlos Dansby that was willing to take this guy. Throw in the Crohn's disease and the bad pro day that he ran, the running at the pro day, he drops. And I think this is as farthest as he will drop because I think Arizona would love to have him. But there could be an issue with Rolando McClain. There's a possibility this guy falls out of the first round altogether. I don't think it happens because I think Arizona takes him here, but you never know. So, with the 27th pick in the 2010 draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Taylor Mays, safety, Southern Cal. Alright, so Taylor Mays is going to Dallas. I think this is a great pick for the Dallas Cowboys. They really need help at safety, and Taylor Mays is a hard-hitting, very fast safety. There was a lot of controversy at his 40 time at the Combine, but it doesn't matter. The kid's fast. I think this is a Jerry Jones type of pick. He's a big name. He's going to make a lot of splash in the NFL just with his hitting ability and the speed that he can run. It is a need for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a big star already, and Jerry Jones loves his big star. So, that's going to do it for this half of the mock draft. We have the last 5 picks in my next video coming up here with San Diego, New York Jets, Minnesota Vikings, Indianapolis Colts, and Super Bowl champion, New Orleans Saints. So until then, I'm KWDOLFAN2010 saying, peace out.